Hey guys, welcome back to Jensen's Reptiles. Today I'm going to run through the questions from the Q&A video, and I'm going to try and answer most of those for you. It's going to be a bit of an informal video today, so I'm just hanging out with Zeke here. So I'll probably get some of the other snakes out in a moment because he's a little bit adventurous at the moment, and I want to be able to film this without having to wrangle him too much. So, first question, I've got them all written down here, so I'm going to try fire through them, not make the video too long. First question is from JP Exotics, and he asked, if you could own any reptile, what would it be and why? So, I've got quite a long list of reptiles I'd like to own. I'd really like to have a crested gecko. I'd like a fire skink. A blue tree monitor. I mean, the list is really long. Main reasons for wanting the animals that I want is to have just as much variety as possible, to learn as much as possible about all of the different animals out there. Alright, I'm going to swap Zeke out in a minute because he's just trying to get into everything. Next question is from Ruby Reptiles, and the question was, what was your first reptile? And how long is your biggest snake? So I'm going to answer that second question first. My biggest snake is Zeke here. He is about 6.5 foot long. He's about 4 years old, going on 5. He is currently my longest snake, but the little baby carpet python I have will most likely outgrow him at some point. And my first reptile was my bearded dragon Yoshi, who is now 10 years old, and I've had him for all 10 of those years. Just had to stop filming there. Zeke was a little bit of a handful, so I've got out a more willing companion just for the moment, and Zeke can come out a bit later on when I need, when I'm not filming. So next question is from Emiliano Romero. I hope I'm saying that right. And the question was, how hard is it to take care of a rainbow boa? And I just got a rainbow boa about a month ago, a little longer. And so far, incredibly easy to take care of. There are a couple of things that you need to keep a close eye on, the big one being humidity. The babies in particular do require a nice high humidity. Once you've got your husbandry down, really not much can go wrong. So I'd say pretty easy to look after, actually. Next question is from Hubble. And the question is, where are you from and what got you into reptiles? So, I am originally from Norway. I currently live in London in the UK. And what got me into reptiles? Weirdly, amphibians got me into reptiles. I would keep going back to the same place to look at the frogs that they had. And that's when I saw this little lady here. And even though I had Yoshi first, and he was a huge kickstart into keeping reptiles, it was a long time before I got a second one. And since I've had Aki here, the passion for keeping reptiles has really grown. So weirdly, the reason I kept going back into that shop was to look at the frogs that they had. So that's kind of what started it. I saw Yoshi in there, and I took him home, and then a while later I got Aki. Next question is from Tyler Langley, and the question is, I have had 2 spotted pythons for 3 years and thinking of getting another snake. Any suggestions on what I should get? My answer to this question is usually the same. Anything that you've researched, anything that you like the look of, as long as you know how to take care of it, you can get anything you want. I don't think there is such thing as a beginner snake. Snakes should not be used as a learning tool, as much as obviously you will learn from your animal's personality is concerned. You really want to know what you're doing before you bring the animal home. That way you are going to have an easier time. They are going to have a better time. So, I mean, there are plenty of species to choose from, and have a look around and see what you like the best, I think. Next question is from Baker's Animals, and the question is, what is your favourite kind of royal python? For me, I like anything that has a really high contrast on colour, but at the same time, one of my favourites is the normals. I think they're beautiful, and it'd be really hard to pick a favourite. All three of mine have come to me under slightly different circumstances, and I didn't choose them based on how they looked. It was something about their personality, so it would be really hard for me to pick, but I have seen some really beautiful ones. Next question is from Helda Taveras. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. The question is, any tips for someone that has never had a reptile and wants a bearded dragon? Research. Most important thing to do is know what you're doing before the animal comes home to you. Make sure that you have your lighting right, make sure that you have your heating right. And then go and spend some time with the animal. Hold them. Make sure you're confident. Make sure that you have researched diet. Things like that. It's really good to avoid any problems that you might have in the first couple of months. So that's my main suggestion. See, now Aki, who usually sits still, now knows, because I am filming, it's a good time to move around. So I'm sorry for this video, guys, it's a little bit clunky, but I'm doing the best I can for today, and then hopefully tomorrow I can film a new reptile room video, and we'll have some better footage. Next question, if Aki moves, is from Michael Barbarino, and he asked, how much time do you spend each day catering to your pets? I would say on average a good 4 or 5 hours at least, because the snakes alone, there are 10 of them, and I like to give them half an hour each for handling. So that alone is, a big chunk of time, and then spot checking and cleaning enclosures and changing water, it all adds up. So it's a good portion of the day. I don't always have to do it on my own, but if I do, it's definitely a large amount of the day. Next question is from James Grigg, and he asked, do you plan on owning any other reptiles, and what is it about the animals that you enjoy? I do plan on owning some more reptiles, not anytime soon, because I have a lot of upgrades planned for the animals I currently keep, and for that I will need to expand the space that I have, but hopefully some point in the future I will definitely have some more species here with me. And what is it about the animals you enjoy? Honestly, everything. They are so much fun to keep and to learn from, and they're all very different. I have a few animals that are the same species, and the personalities are so incredibly different. It's just wonderful to own them. I am going to quickly swap Aki with one of the other snakes, because again, they seem to know when I'm filming, and that's when they become a little bit more adventurous and curious about what's going on. So I will spend some more time with all of them later, don't worry about that, but for now I'm going to grab someone that feels like sitting still for a bit. There we go, someone who will definitely sit still. This little guy just likes to chill out when he's out and about. So I'm going to try crack on with these questions and see where we go. Next question is from Demon, or _Demon_ is the username. And the question is, what is your dream reptile to have, no matter how deadly or rare? Funnily enough, I think the dream reptile that I really want is not deadly. I don't think particularly rare, but a little bit hard to come by where I live. I would really like to have a blue tree monitor. I think they are one of the most beautiful animals in the world. But of course I would need so much space, so that would be the biggest concern for me, is being able to create a large enough enclosure to house an animal like that, especially an arboreal monitor. It would require a lot of space for sure. Next question is from Javier Toulon. How many pets do you have? I currently have 26. Yeah, 26. Next question is from ASDFG. I don't know how to say that any differently. And the question is, who are some of your favourite reptile YouTubers, big or small? I have so many people that I am friends with on Facebook or YouTube that I love watching their videos. In fact, just far too many to list. A lot of them have asked questions on here, so I think if I comment on your videos regularly, then you know you're one of them. Other than that, I think Camp Kinnon is my favourite big reptile YouTuber. Brilliant quality videos, and the content is phenomenal, and it's just fun to see reptile keeping on such a large scale. Next question is from JFCM Exotics, and he asked me, how does your relationship with an animal differ, whether it's a rescue or one you've bought as a pet? So as he knows, a lot of the animals here I have are rescues, and some of them have come to me because they've been mistreated or poorly kept, or something along those lines, or someone just didn't want them anymore. And some of the animals I have here I have bought because I have gone out of my way to find them, or because I've seen them and fallen for them or whatever. The relationship differs in the sense that when you are taking on an animal that may have been mistreated, your approach to them may be slightly different, but usually what I found is that because they seem to be really relieved and happy to be in a environment that's meeting their needs, they usually become some of the most mellow animals that I have. So the boa that I had out at the beginning of the video is the most challenging rescue that I've had. When he came to me, he was striking constantly at anything that would move. You could not pick him up. He would hiss, he would strike, and then almost overnight, not overnight, but in a week or so, he started to calm down, and then I would get him out using a pillowcase just to cover his head so he didn't freak out at being picked up. And then suddenly he comes to the glass now to come out, and that kind of change is really nice to see. And then I have animals here like Yoshi, who I have had him since he was a baby, and he was not a rescue. He was a pet that I bought, and he is a wonderful creature. I would not trade him for anything, and our relationship has been one of raising him from a baby, so he's incredibly close to me, and we have a brilliant level of trust between us, and he hasn't had to learn that as an adult. He's had that since he was a baby, so I think for me that's the biggest difference. That's a brilliant question, actually. Very difficult to put my finger on what that difference is, but that's just a couple. Next question is from Vengeance Anivia. I'm not sure if I wrote that down right. What made you get into reptiles, and how was your experience with owning your first one? Was it easy going, or did you find it difficult? So as I said, Yoshi here was my first reptile. I think it was fairly easy going because I did quite a lot of research before getting him. But even 10 years ago, or when I got him, it was quite difficult to find accurate information on these animals. The pet shop that I got him from didn't know very much, and they didn't give very much information. So it's difficult to find that online sometimes. So I was using books, and now I know that the books I had were really not great. So whilst it was easy going because he's a fairly hardy animal, and I didn't put him through anything horrific. I had a few difficulties with getting the right lighting and things like that, but otherwise it was fairly easy. And I think as far as bearded dragons go, they are, once everything's set up, they're just such a wonderful animal to own. I've very rarely come across a mean one, and even those with a little bit of time seem to chill out. So as you can see, he's super chilled out, and he's a bit of an old man now, but not too old. He still likes to come out every day. Next question is from Luck Ray, and the question is, what's your favourite gecko species and why? This question, I've been thinking about it for a week now. It's so difficult to answer because The geckos I have a leopard gecko and I have two viper geckos, and I think they're the best things ever because I keep them. But at the same time, there are so many gecko species that I love. Crested geckos I think are just wonderful, and there are some day geckos that just stunning colours, and if I had the opportunity I would own them all. I love geckos so much, but to pick a favourite, I really would struggle so much. I'd have to say just the two species that I have because I can't choose between them. Next question is from Thexan, and it says, what originally got you into liking reptiles? I think I've already covered that mainly. Kept going in the pet shop to look at frogs, saw this chap, and then suddenly I have a bucket ton of reptiles and I love them. Next question is from Blue Creeper, and the question is, have you ever thought about keeping monitor lizards? Yes, we have definitely covered this. I would love to have a blue tree monitor. That's pretty much the only one that I would really love to have. I'm a big fan of Aki monitors as well, but the blue tree is definitely 10 out of 10 the one that I want. Paul Davenport asked, how do you clean your cork bark? I spoke to Paul and we had a chat about this together, just because I wanted to make sure that he knew, just in case he needed the answer straight away. But just in case the rest of you want to know, I use a steamer or a jet spray, and just to get in all the grooves. I then will bake it in the oven if it's a small enough piece, or if it's not, I will fill the bathtub, put a F10 solution in there, and I will weigh it down underwater to hopefully either drown anything that's residing in any of the nooks and crannies, but the steamer with an F10 solution in it works really well as well. Cynthia Miracle has asked me about multi-mammoths. I was mentioning in a last video about what I feed the royal pythons here, and I feed them multi-mammoths or African soft-furred rats, you might know them as. It is the kind of natural food source for the royal pythons. Some people use them when the pythons go off their food as a kind of kickstarter back onto eating, but for me, I like to use them all the time. They have just a brilliant kind of fat to muscle ratio, and I think for a large bodied animal that can put on weight really easily, I would prefer not to feed them kind of the Norwegian rats or fancy rats that we get here, and mice aren't big enough for the adults, so multi-mammoths for me are my top choice. Next question is from D&J Reptiles, and the question is there a herp related product currently not being produced that you would like to be? This question is phenomenal. Every day I'm complaining about why hasn't a company made this, why hasn't a company made this. The biggest one for me is, why do people not make natural hides for big snakes? It drives me crazy. I know that a lot of people use upside down cat litter trays or paint trays, or even cat carriers I've seen being used, cardboard boxes, and that's great. I mean, you're offering your animal a hide and that's brilliant, but I would really love to see the market have just some kind of natural looking hides for big snakes. That would be, that would make me really happy, because I have my boa is outgrowing the largest Exoterra hide, and I'm going to have to make him one, so I'm fine with that really. But if I was keeping super large snakes exclusively, I think I would be a bit annoyed at the lack of stuff available for them. Snake Dude 1814 asked me, if you could own a large python, what would it be? Retic, Burm, or Amethystine? I am absolutely in love with reticulated pythons. I think just their eyes alone are so just incredible. I get lost for words thinking about it. They're beautiful animals. Burmese pythons are, again, just stunning, and amethystines as well, absolutely beautiful. The biggest I would go, I have a carpet python, and she's probably the biggest python I will own, just on space restriction that I have, because I do plan on giving all these animals some really decent cage upgrades in this coming year actually. So the carpet is probably the biggest I'd go, but if I really had a lot of space, I'd definitely get a reticulated python. That is the last question. I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone that did submit questions. I really appreciate it. Anyone that's new to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing. Anyone that's old to the channel, thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I can't believe that this channel hit 3,000 subscribers. I'm really happy that you're all here. Please continue asking questions on the videos. Leave your comments, leave your likes. If you're new, feel free to subscribe, and I hope that I can keep producing content that you enjoy. If there are things that you want to see, please let me know. I will try to get around to filming videos as soon as I can. I've got a lot going on at the moment, but there's always time to film videos here and there. So do let me know, and massive thanks again to all of you. Hope you're having a great day.